What's up, everybody? Let's Talk Jets Radio. Hope you guys are doing well. Quick video here talking green and white scrimmage, a little bit on today's practice, which I finally got to go to, and then a little bit on the first depth chart that got released a little while ago. So starting with the green and white, the biggest thing was just getting to meet a bunch of people from the chat. You know, it's been a pretty long 18 months. You guys got us through a lot of shit, as Tyson mentioned in his video. So finally getting to actually meet up with you guys, interact, have a couple beers, and be at the stadium with a much different vibe from, the past couple of years. It was definitely nice. It was refreshing to do that. So once again, just thank you to everybody that came out and reached out to us. It was definitely appreciated. To the actual scrimmage itself, pretty uneventful. I mean, the defense has been ahead of the offense for quite some time now. It was noted that Zach Wilson, he struggled quite a bit, as did the other quarterbacks and the rest of the offense. I think they had one touchdown the entire night, and that was probably the third team, if I remember right. All the offenses were struggling to get first downs even, just a lot of checkdowns, a lot of basic shit. Clearly, I think the offense hasn't expanded their entire playbook yet, and you're definitely seeing, Zach Wilson and his receivers still working on chemistry, getting the timing down and things like that, which will take time. I think we all acknowledge that. So even me, I'm not panicked at this point. A little concerning we haven't seen a couple nice days in a row, or at least some more wow throws like we're seeing at a camp from Chicago with Justin Fields and San Francisco with Trey Lance. You want to see a little bit more out of that with Zach Wilson, but I think in time it will come. But yeah, definitely on Saturday night, I mean, best player on the field was C.J. Mosley. It's nice to see him stepping up. Also, some of the young guys in the secondary, Javelin Guidry in particular. I know he had an interception, looked pretty good. So it's nice to see some competition and the defense just playing well. Those guys playing with their hair on fire, running around, coming in on blitzes. So I think it's a good thing that the defense at least looks like they're ready to to take the field and play against some other competition, while the offense unfortunately looks like they still have a ways to go, which is fine. I don't think anybody expected it to be down only 2 weeks into camp. So looking at today, it was just a lot of the same shit. The offense was struggling. I think Connor Hughes put the numbers out there for Wilson. I think it was like 5 of 14 with 2 touchdowns. He did look pretty good in the red zone. I'll give him that. Where there was no offensive line, no defensive line. It was just 7-on-7s. He hooked up with Corey Davis a bunch of times, once on a nice little fade route in the corner of the end zone. Davis with a nice catch, got the toe tap for the touchdown. But a few other plays where he had guys open and he just missed them. Other plays where he held onto the ball way too long. If you throw a defensive line in there, it was definitely a sack. So it's been just a lot of ups and downs. So it's really hard to go too crazy, like I said, with the chemistry and the timing, installing a brand new offense with a rookie quarterback. For anybody to expect by week 2 this thing to look perfect would be crazy. But I think most people want to see a little bit more, and that's definitely fair. As for Coach Saleh, I'll say this, and you can take this as a criticism, I guess. We can talk a little bit more about it tonight. I love the motivator that he is. Everything, is positive, uplifting, motivational. You can see why he's a player's coach and, why guys want to fight for him and stuff like that. But I do want to see Coach Saleh get mad. At some point, I want to see him get a little bit pissed off, say it's not good enough, hear his voice at training camp. Like today, the assistants, they were a little bit more vocal. I think there was a little bit more of a sense of urgency moving from drill to drill. So it was good to see that. It felt like a game prep week, today at practice, but you still don't really hear Coach Saleh at all. And so I just want to see a little bit of that Bill Parcells type in him. I think we all knew when he got hired that he was going to be that motivator and that leader, which is fine. Now can he, give you that discipline side too? And I think early in camp that's important. Set the expectations right away. Make sure, that guys know coming in, like you got to be prepared physically, mentally, know your routes, know your playbook, all shit like that. So it just seems like after every practice so far, yeah, everyone's good, everyone's heading in the right direction, everyone's improving, everyone's getting better. I'm waiting for that one day where he just says, no, that shit wasn't good enough. I'd love to see that. At least that side is in him, and he's not willing, or he's able to, and he's willing to speak up and say it. So, maybe it's too early to expect that, and I completely understand. It's probably not fair to expect that until after at least the second preseason game, all things considered, with this team. But we'll see if, we do see that side of Coach Saleh eventually. I think it will come out if it's needed. Hopefully it's not. But getting to the depth chart, which I can look at right now, actually. Hard to really judge a whole lot from this. In particular, you see Michael Carter with the 4th team, which is kind of surprising because he's been getting a lot of work with Zach Wilson. But they have been rotating a lot of the backs. Like today, Ty Johnson, he took the first handoff. Tevin Coleman, he's been in there working a lot with the ones. Right now they have Michael Pirine listed with the 2nd team, which I thought was kind of interesting. The Denzel Mims stuff, it's fascinating to me because there's a portion of the fans that aren't accepting, I think, the reality of just where he is right now. It's not a knock on Denzel Mims, the player. It's not shitting on him at all, saying that he sucks or that he's a bust. He's clearly a second-year player with plenty of talent, plenty of ability. But facts are facts. Right now, he's struggling to see targets. He's struggling to get reps with the first team. I know he's listed on the second team right now on the depth chart. But right now it's been Keelan Cole, Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder, and Elijah Moore pretty much rotating in and out a lot, working with the ones. And there's also been a lot of 2 tight end sets, 2 running back sets with the first team. So the idea that Denzel Mims is going to be on the field a lot this year, barring injuries, I think that's a stretch right now. He might see 10 to 15 plays a game, get some work in some 4 wide receiver sets and things like that. But to think that he's going to be out there for more than 50% of the plays, just based on the way that Keelan Cole looks, based on how quickly Elijah Moore has progressed, not to mention today, Corey Davis, he had a phenomenal day. It's just where the reps coming from with Denzel Mims. I think that's the only question. So looking at the rest of the depth chart, they put George Fant and Morgan Moses both with the first team. I don't know if there's anything to indicate with that. You have Mike White still right now as the second quarterback with James Morgan as the third, even though I do think Morgan's played a little bit better than him. Van Roten, he's been getting all the work with the first team at right guard thus far. Alex Lewis, who knows what the hell happened with him. I'll just say that, I hope he's doing well as far as just his mental health. Clearly, he had some things going on last year, which have lingered into this year, so you just hope that he's doing all right. But definitely some weird stuff right there with him going on the left team list, which I don't think I've ever heard of before. You have Elijah Vera Tucker out right now, so Dan Feeney, he's been filling in at left guard with the first team. Cameron Clark, he's still working his way back from injury, so they got Corey Levine right now with the second team at right guard. You had Tristan Hodge in there today, who had one nice play on a screen where he was out in front making some blocks, so maybe he steps up, earns a backup spot if the injuries continue. And then on the defense, pretty much, straightforward with Quinnen out. You got Sheldon Rankins and Fadu Kasi up the middle, Franklin Myers and Lawson on the edge, and Carl Lawson again today, just another phenomenal practice. If it was an actual game, probably had another 2 or 3 sacks on Becton. Again, in the long term, this is great for Becton, a lot of experience. He'll get better from this, but he's still trying to figure out Lawson, and Lawson's giving him fits every day, and it's not just a speed rush on the outside. Today he had one play after beating him a couple times on the outside where he took it right across his face to the inside, was at the quarterback within like 2.5 seconds. So Lawson definitely looks legit. You have Gerard Davis with Mosley and Nasruddin as your linebackers right now. I'm excited to watch the matchup with Nasruddin and Cashman throughout camp. Both players have been playing pretty well. Same thing for Jamian Sherwood. He had a nice day today. And then I still think it's pretty wide open in the secondary. Javelin Guidry, like I mentioned before, he had a nice day during the green and white scrimmage. He had an interception. Bless Austin and Bryce Hall, I should say. They've been getting a lot of work with the ones. Nichols and Lamar Jackson right now listed with the twos. And then Isaiah Dunn and Jason Pinnock actually with the third team ahead of Corey Ballentine and Justin Hardy, which I think is kind of interesting. But other than that, it's really hard to read a lot into this. I think a lot will probably change after the first 2 preseason games, but we'll see. Talk to you guys tonight. Excited for the show. Hope everyone's well. Talk to you later.